I just love what I do, and I love the people that I meet. You may remember back in the 60s there was a bumper sticker that said, bloom where you are planted. And God planted me there, and so I'm doing the best I can, and I love the people I meet there.
Passion, kindness, love of her community.
Empathy, most of all love.
Seeing the full picture of how families are affected by crime.
She's that person that follows by the rules. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Every case that I had over 35 plus years in the district attorney's office, if it involved a victim, Joan was likely by my side. She has a calming influence in even the most stressful of situations. Parents of children who have been molested, even parents of children who have been murdered, whose lives will never ever be the same again, gravitate toward Joan and find comfort in her companionship.
As I think about Joan, I think of someone who brings to the table a sense of hope to individuals that otherwise would want to lay in bed for the rest of their lives, or perhaps take their own life because they can't imagine a life without their loved one.
Joan worked with the victim families of homicides, and it was countless homicides that are worked on. And those families just require so much attention and empathy and love, and she was able to give that in every single case.
Joan made a phone call to myself, basically letting us know what would happen with our son moving from forensic to the mortuary where he'd be taken and then have the funeral and then laid to rest.
For the first 6.5 years after our son was murdered, I was very suicidal and in and out of the hospitals 13 times. On the days that Jeff could not make it into the courtroom, because I was so suicidal, I could not have come through this without JOAN FAIRFIELD. She's the most compassionate, warm, beautiful human being I have ever met. She's never not been there for us through the 10 years of trials. We were never left alone during lunch or anywhere we had to go. She was always there to make us feel comfortable and protected because it was a high-profile case.
I got cancer about 3 years ago, and her church, and she makes sure whether she's there or not, they say a prayer for me.
Every Sunday. At 11 o'clock.
And she'll let me know that. They said, I wasn't there, but they said a prayer for you. And I mean, we're not family, but we feel like we are.
I come from a very small town in Michigan, and I grew up in a farm community where I was the only girl, and there were 13 boys, and I was the toughest one of all. And I also knew that I could skate like Sonia Henney only if I could get the costume. And so I would go out with my ice skates. That's when I just could not understand how she could stay warm and I was freezing, you know. But
can't even tell you how many times I've been out on the street with my mom and people will come up and give her a hug and tell her that she's their guardian angel, that she's done so many amazing things for them.
I come from a big family, so family is something that, you know, is really important to me. And it was seamless. She's definitely a hero in my book.
Joan has told me many times, she says, when I can no longer do this job, please tell me and I'll make a quiet exit. But until then, I intend to continue working.
Doesn't sound like anybody's going to tell her that anytime.
It was not going to be me.
When I was a little girl, I saw The Wizard of Oz,
And I thought the most beautiful, loving person I ever saw was the Good Witch. And when I watched Joan work with crime victims, especially children, I see that magic that she brings to the room where the healing process begins when Joan walks in.